welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So please, I came across these stitches on my For You and I thought to share where people are reacting to the fact that a 90-year-old was actually picked from the roadside by ICE, even though judges have actually demanded for her not to be. But anyways, this ICE actually went ahead to, deport this lady where she has not been throughout the rest, like where she has not actually been in her life for a very long time. Lovelies, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together because Latino people are actually calling out for help. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into these stitches and we are going to come back to talk about the reason why these guys keep on doing things knowing fully well that no one is going to ask them, nobody is going to question them. Let's dive into it.
Did you say a 19-year-old who was trying to surprise her family for Thanksgiving was deported even after a judge ordered her not to be deported or removed from the state? This is Beosa, originally from Honduras. She came to the US when she was about 7 or 8 years old and grew up in Texas. And recently, she started attending her first year at Babson College in Massachusetts. She was studying business because her dream was to start a tailor shop with her father. Well, on November 20th, she was at Boston Logan Airport about to board a flight to Austin, Texas. She was trying to surprise her family for Thanksgiving break. But at the gate, the ticket agent told her that she needed to go to customer service. And that's when an immigration agent detained her. When they initially detained her, they did not tell her why. It wasn't until later on that she found out that somehow she had an order of removal. Some people are saying from 2015, others are saying from 2017. But either way, the family had no idea. The family's lawyer filed an emergency lawsuit requesting that Beosa not be removed from the U.S. for a period of at least 72 hours. And a judge granted that order just after 6 p.m. Friday. That order was supposed to prevent immigration officials from moving her out of state or out of the country. But just hours after it was issued, she was moved from Massachusetts to Texas. And then on Monday, the family had learned that she had been flown from Texas to Honduras. She is now back in Honduras with her grandparents in San Pedro Sula. Right now, the family is weighing all the options. Does she stay in Honduras and try to go to college there? Or do they continue the fight to try and bring her back? Please share this video so people can see how this government is absolutely destroying people's lives. Not only are they not giving people the right to due process, they're violating court orders. This should have never happened to this family, but unfortunately, under this government, cruelty is the point.
The article reads, Annie Lucia Lopez Beosa, 19, had already passed through security at the airport. Long story short, she was approached by ICE in an incredibly short amount of time. Instead of traveling to Texas to spend Thanksgiving with her family, she was deported to Honduras. Go ahead and Google Jesse Butler for me. That judge decided that somebody sick enough to do that bullshit only needed counseling and community service. But when you have somebody that has been here since they were 7, 8 years old, this is the only life they know. And they're allowed to live here, be a part of the community, so much so to where they graduate high school. And all they want to do now is travel to spend Thanksgiving with their families. The same way MAGA did on fucking Thursday. But for months on end, since last year, when you turn on that fucking TV and you hear MAGA's bullshit, they say that they're going after the worst of the worst criminals, the violent gang members, the this, the that, the bullshit. And stories like this are not the only one where they are literally just going after anybody who they think is Latina, Latino, from South America, whatever it may be. And the worst part of this is that there is no law-abiding anything about this. They are completely ignoring judges, completely breaking laws, and they're fully aware of it. The Department of Homeland Security throws out the most bullshit reasons and statements as to why ICE did this, ICE did that. It gets to a point, people. It gets to a point. I don't know what more of a direct quote you need other than when injustice becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. We all saw that video where that Latino man said, "I'm an American citizen," and without hesitation, the ICE agent said, "I don't care." There is no other way to chop it up. There are racist and evil people all throughout ICE that feel like they have a full-fledged get out of jail free card. No prosecution, no nothing. Just go grab them, put them in a car, and send them to a different country. What about Tyler? What about the guy who literally shot Charlie Kirk, their fucking mascot, right? Why not deport him? Since you're so concerned about keeping Americans protected from the lunatics, the criminals, the violent. Do we need to go down the list of how many American citizens we all make sure get to that jail cell, get 3 meals a day? You got motherfuckers on death row for what? 30, 40 years? Motherfuckers on death row for years on end, convicted of awful crimes. But then when people are here for literal decades doing nothing but working, paying taxes, going to school, building their American dream, that's who they need to go round up and deport. It gets to a point, people. Are we really going to sit here and wait around for a court system that ICE and MAGA doesn't respect anyway? Are we really going to sit here and wait for prosecutions and trials that MAGA will never fear or take seriously, ever? The entire month, people, the entire year, people, the entire fucking year, month after month after month, we watch these masked men run around and kidnap people. We have spent an entire year watching people get kidnapped. Watching what's happening still in Gaza. And watching what happened in Gaza is heartbreaking. And we saw it through a screen. What's happening inside of those deportation centers? Look into why they're so gung-ho about sending people from all across the country to Louisiana, to the deportation center in Louisiana specifically. All the things that are going on with ICE, that's on your home turf. That's in your country. Full on lawlessness. I believe it said 20,000 to 30,000 students marched in protest, just left school and went outside and marched in North Carolina when ICE showed up in North Carolina. It needs to be 30 million Americans minimum. If all we can do is peaceful protests, like it needs to be 150 million Americans. Like this shit has to stop. That girl just wanted to go home for Thanksgiving and spend that time with her family. And I think in less than 72 hours, she's in fucking Honduras, people. She came here when she was fucking 7 years old. Been here longer than a decade. The only country she really knows. She spent the majority of her life in this country. So they sent her back somewhere where she spent the minority of her lifetime? Does that make sense to you? Anybody still supporting this shit? The floor. The absolute floor of humanity. I struggle to find words that accurately describe your character.
19-year-old Annie Lucia Lopez Beosa was on her way home from college for Thanksgiving to surprise her parents. But she never got there. She was detained by immigration agents at Boston Airport. And instead of being sent back home to Austin, Texas, She was deported to Honduras, a country she has not known or even seen since she was 7 years old. Joining us, Annie's attorney, Todd Pomerleau. Todd, thank you for joining us. Where is Annie right now, and how is she doing?
Well, she's considerably distraught and, absolutely understandable given what happened to her. Last, week ago, she's trying to surprise her family to fly home for Thanksgiving and see her two little sibling sisters, her mom and her dad, and a, family friend who her dad works for in a tailoring shop, was the only one that knew she was coming to town. Most college kids can't afford to fly home for a holiday. If they can, and she gets arrested at Logan International Airport. It's the third such case we've had in the last few months where women just get detained with no warning, no warrant. She had no idea what was happening. She's a 19-year-old child under the immigration laws, under the age of 21, and a scholarship recipient at Babson University. You're living, the American dream. Annie's dream basically has turned into this dystopian nightmare of immigration and customs abuse. That's what it is. It's not enforcement of the law. This is absolute child abuse, what they did to her. They took her and handcuffed her at the airport, pretended that her boarding pass didn't work, brought her to a local immigration facility, gave her a false sense of assurance that maybe something was wrong, maybe something could work out. They then brought her to a military base for several hours and ignored requests from her office. We were calling ICE to see where she was. We asserted her right to counsel. We sent emails. Nothing was responded to. And then it just gets worse. At 6 o'clock at night, we had a lawsuit pending in the Boston Federal Courthouse. A judge issued an order that she should not be removed from the United States at a minimum in the District of Massachusetts. And we thought she was deported Friday night. Her dad was in tears when we talked to him. We said, Annie's been deported. And then Monday, we just called to console him and learned that his daughter actually got deported on Saturday in violation of a federal court order. It is inexcusable, and we are not stopping until we bring Annie back home.
Okay, so do you remember when Trump said that he would only be deporting violent criminals, the worst of the worst?
Still prioritizing going after the worst of the worst, or are you now arresting anyone who is here? The worst of the worst, always first.
New leaked documents from the DHS show that that was a lie and that the lie is getting worse. So we all remember that during his campaign, Trump said his mass deportation efforts would be focused on murderers, rapists, drug dealers. That was the pitch, and that was what people understood they were voting for. Fast forward to June of this year, when the Cato Institute, which is a right-leaning libertarian organization, released a report saying that 65% of the people taken by ICE had no criminal convictions at all. 93% had no violent convictions. So that's already bad, right? But then last week, Cato dropped new leaked data. This is from October and November, and everything's gotten much worse. Now 73% of people detained have no criminal convictions, not even a traffic ticket. Only 5% have violent crime convictions. Only 5%. You guys, this means that the number of people who have been detained with no convictions has increased a staggering 2,370% since January. These are people who were working, paying taxes, contributing to our society. Trump's goons could not care less. ICE doesn't even care whether you're a citizen or not.
I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm a U.S. citizen. Okay, you're a U.S. citizen.
This is what happens when you prioritize arrest quantities over public safety. Stephen Miller, Trump's deputy chief of staff, gave ICE a quota 3,000 arrests a day. That's triple what they were doing before. When you set arrest quotas that high, agents can't be picky. They're arresting whoever they can find to hit those numbers. So if you had any doubt that this is not about public safety at all, but it is about the mass deportation of anybody brown in America, I hope these data reports from a conservative organization start to take that doubt away. Because when the Cato Institute is repeatedly calling out a Republican administration, maybe it's time to pay attention.
A 19-year-old college student was deported while trying to fly home for Thanksgiving, despite her lawyer saying that a federal judge had ordered her to not be removed. Her name is Annie Lucia Lopez Beosa. She's been in the U.S. since she was 8, and she was flying from Boston to Texas to see her family. At the gate, staff had flagged her boarding pass, and then she was taken into federal custody. ICE says that she was given a removal order back in 2015. Her lawyer says that he found no record of that in any public database, and she nor anyone in her family was ever informed of this. Her attorney also said that earlier that day, a federal judge had issued an emergency order prohibiting her removal or transfer out of Massachusetts, but she was deported to Honduras anyways. She is now back in Honduras, but reminder that she has been in the U.S. since she was 8, so she has built her entire life here. She's far away from her college, she's far away from her family, she has absolutely no criminal record, and her legal team is saying that her deportation violated a judge's order.
Appeals Court has just ruled that Alina Habba was not lawfully appointed the U.S. Attorney in New Jersey. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. If this sounds familiar, it's because it is. Just last week, a judge in the Eastern District of Virginia found that Lindsay Halligan was not lawfully appointed the U.S. Attorney for Virginia. So let me break down what is going on. The president has the right to appoint the U.S. Attorney that he wants. Anybody that he wants, that's who he can appoint. But he has to do so with the advice and consent of the Senate. He's had difficulty having credible people appointed and confirmed by the Senate. He has wanted to put in the U.S. Attorney's position people who are loyal to him. Alina Habba is one of those people. She was one of his personal lawyers. In fact, I told you about a case last week where his personal lawyer and Trump were ordered to pay $1 million for filing frivolous lawsuits. That was Alina Habba. She was the attorney involved in that case. Trump has tried to get around having his U.S. attorneys confirmed by the Senate by appointing them to the position. So there's a separate federal statute that says someone like a U.S. attorney can be appointed for 120 days. At the expiration of the 120 days, if no one has been confirmed, at that point, the judges in the district would be able to appoint an acting U.S. attorney. Back in July of this year, the 120 days for Alina Habba expired. The judges in the district appointed a career U.S. attorney to act as the acting U.S. attorney. Trump fired the career prosecutor that the judges had appointed, and he tried to do an end run around the Constitution and the statute, and they appointed Alina Habba as a special assistant attorney to try to get around the need for her to be confirmed. However, the judges have said in this appeal that they just issued today that he can't do that either. Things are in limbo in New Jersey because a federal district court judge had already ruled that Alina Habba was not the lawful U.S. attorney. Now a court of appeals has confirmed that. So indictments, the business that the U.S. Attorney's Office is supposed to carry on for the American people, those things are not happening. So this is another slap in the face for the Trump administration, and this is absolutely going to be appealed. It's going to end up before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ultimately will decide whether he can lawfully appoint U.S. attorneys in the manner that he's been doing. So you all let me know if you have any questions, and let me know in the comments what you think about this.
Seriously, lovelies, I have never seen a thing like this. This present administration seems not to be answerable to anyone. They do something based on their own, like they don't care, they don't answer to anyone. So this lady was actually deported to a country that she barely visited. I think the last time it was said she visited the said country was just about, when she was little, maybe 5 years ago or what have you. And now, imagine you were a college student going to go surprise your family for Thanksgiving. All of a sudden, you had been reprimanded by ICE, then deported you back to where you have not been for a very long time. Like, seriously, lovelies. Is this what, these guys have actually turned themselves with? The thing is that sometimes when I see stuff like this, and it's all, Latino, Mexican, what have you, I keep on, sometimes I don't really stitch that video because sometimes I was like, this guy's contributed with whatsoever that is going on, but that does not really mean that when you see something that is wrong, say that is wrong, call a spade, because this is just so wrong in all humanity. This is wrong in all honesty. The thing is that a judge has told you not to, and they actually went ahead they don't care. They don't care who you are, if you're a judge or not. This present administration is above everyone. Is above anybody. They are the ones in charge. They are the ones to tell what's going on. And it's so heartbreaking and disappointed that you, even as a citizen, you don't have a say. You as a citizen might actually be deported to where you barely visit. And when this man was actually running, he was all promising that he was going to deport the illegal immigrant and criminals and all of that. Like, so this 19-year-old happens to be a criminal, right? Or she happens to be one of the criminals, right? Like, come of it. The worst part is that there are so many migrant supporters who are all bent in justifying something like this. When I stitch videos, sometimes I see so many commentaries on my commentary, like trying to justify whatsoever that is going on. But I know that this is not right. Imagine planning to go visit your family from college or from the school. You're going to go visit your family, and now all of a sudden, on unidentified armed people covered their faces just picked you up. Do you know how traumatizing that could be? Do you know how traumatizing that could be? Like, and these guys don't care. They don't give a F about anything. Like, they literally don't care. Seriously. They don't care if you're a teenager, old person, young person. So far, you're just nobody. Like, why? Also, for your someone of color, you just have to shush. And this is justifiable, right? And the people who voted for this present administration is all happy with all of the things that is being played out right about now. I actually feel for the lady because this lady is still 19 and being deported where she is. Like, how would she even cope? Like, these people don't care. No, but she's not a criminal, because if she's a criminal, the judge might not even get involved, right? So it's clearly that she's not a criminal. She was just picked up because maybe she look, you know, she's not bunny and all of that. Sometimes I keep asking, is it that there's nobody, like there is no other race that are due to deport? Why always maybe Mexican or brown or black people and all of that? Like, this is just giving what it is giving. It is giving discrimination. It is giving everything racist and what have you. Like, seriously. Anyways, when I saw this, I was like, people really need to be very careful out there. If you're a young, old, or middle-aged person, be very careful and mindful. If you're older with kids, be very, very careful and minding. And I will see you lovelies when I upload. But before then, don't forget to please leave your thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So please share this video, subscribe, and I will see you when I upload the next one. Anyway, lovely, so now just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and also support my other channel, Verse. And I will see you, lovely, when I upload the next one.